So, spill all your secrets for the season. Tell us everything, or at least tease us.
Great. That's it. That's the
Villains,
lead.
monsters.
That's it. I think we're going to find at the start here something of a broken landscape. In that it's not necessarily one big bad that's rising to the fore. I think we've got a lot of big bads that we have on our show that luckily have been rounded out as characters, and we're going to continue in that vein. I mean, we're going to find Crowley essentially behind bars. And to that end, the boys are they're dealing with a world that they haven't had to deal with in many seasons. Hell is not hell without the king of hell in hell. The angels are not in heaven. So it sounded like a dork out. I kept on saying free-for-all, but there is something for free-for-all. And in that free-for-all, many of our main characters, beyond our boys, are going to be forced to really take a hard look at themselves. We've got a lot of our characters who have dealt with new aspects of themselves at the end of last year, and we don't just drop that. We try and keep it very, very grounded, and we don't lean into it too hard in the beginning, but it's there. Some characters more than others. So I think what you're going to see is this broken landscape where alliances are going to form. Some alliances that we've never seen our boys make before are going to have to be made. Some decisions that the boys would rather not make are going to have to be made very early on that are going to be very, very personal to the boys and are going to have a tremendous effect on the mythology and their relationship this year.
Is there any possibility that that we might see the return of the original King of Hell, Lucifer? Is that in the cards, perhaps? Or
well, I'll say that there's something of a civil war going on in Crowley's absence. Something he's not happy about, something he can't really affect. So, in Crowley being a prisoner of the boys, Crowley always being Crowley, is going to find some way, or try to find some way to wiggle out of this. And it's a lot of fun, and frankly, here we are in season 9. The fact that I think we started to get there at the end of last season, where you actually start to, dare I say, feel for Crowley. It's a fun place to go with the character like this, and Mark Shepard does it wonderfully. So that's a general answer to your question. What was he saying?
Can you talk a bit about your decision to bring back Bobby? Because I know there's a lot of people in heaven, so you have to handle that with big gloves in order to bring him back.
I think you're exactly right. You one thing I see online with the fans and stuff is that you never want to any genre show, people are always coming back, but you always sort that line. You don't want to minimize the death. So death is death, and you want it to be felt. So to that end, we're very, very careful about how we bring Bobby, and how Bobby comes out in a way that folks won't expect, and they won't. I'll leave it at that.
What episode does he come back in?
What's that?
What episode?
Bobby will be back in episode 1.
Episode 1.
Was it something that you wanted to do as a character? You knew it probably felt right, but was it something that you wanted to do because the fans wanted to see Bobby back?
It was something, as always, felt very, very right to the storytelling of the episode and the season. Yeah.
And what about Felicia Day?
Yeah. What about
Felicia Day?
Yeah, we're going to see her early on. She's going to be in, I believe, episode 4, where she's coming back, and she's going to be helping the boys in a case which reaches back in time, and that we're going to see some really fun stuff from the early days of the Men of Letters. In fact, we're going to see the first 2 Men of Letters ever to inhabit the bunker in 1935. And there's going to be a story that we are following in the past, which I can't go too much into detail, but I will say Wizard of Oz. So it's really fun. It Charlie's a great part of the story, and we love it.
After having being out for 10 seasons or up to 10 seasons,
Yeah.
are you writing with a general arc in mind, with the thought that maybe that might wrap up the series, or do you just do one season at a time?
There's absolutely a general arc in mind. And I think Bob Singer, who's in the room, has an expression. I think we think of the general arc and we allow for happy accidents, you know, and I think people would be stunned to know what were happy accidents and, you know, it seemed like it had been planned all along, you know, stuff that, you know, that just gels as the season's going on. And so, yes, I mean, I think, me personally, I feel an obligation to plan forward for an arc, but also to keep the show in a position where if they want to go for season 11, 12, 19, they can.
So season 11's an option then?
What's that?
Season 11?
Season 11? How about season? What happened to season 10? What happened to season 9?
We already know the boys are signed for that.
Oh, right. Oh, I got you. Right. Fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll take it one at a time here.
My nephews also asked me to ask you if there'd be more fun episodes instead of like everything, you know, so serious and in the arc. Do you have fun one-off episodes?
We do. Like I mentioned, we have a Wizard of Oz episode. We have an episode, so much fun, but it's a great family mythology episode coming up in the early batch, where we and Sam are going to run on the side of Dean that we've never known before. We're going to have. There's no real artful way to pitch this one, other than to say there will be an episode where Dean talks to dogs, and that's a lot of fun. Not only talks to dogs, but almost gets in a street fight with a pigeon, who we can talk to as well, and so there'll be a healthy mix of fun and serious, as always.
Like Dr. Doolittle.
Very much like Dr. Little. Dr. Dean Little, you could say.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.